Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. Hey, today we are concluding Jacob's final talk. Okay, and this is he's prophesied really over all his sons, and today he's going to give some just closing remarks, and then he's going to just get up in his bed and die. Okay, so this is taken today from Genesis 49. Verses 29 to 33. So if you have your Bibles like I do, you can go ahead and turn there and we'll read. It says this: Then he gave them these instructions. Okay, final instructions here. I am about to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave in the field of Ephron the Hittite, the cave in the field of Machpelah, near Mamre in Canaan, where Abraham bought along with the field as a burial place from Ephron the Hittite. There Abraham and his wife Sarah were buried. There Isaac and his wife Rebekah were buried. And there I buried Leah. The field and the cave in it were bought from the Hittites. When Jacob had finished giving instructions to his sons, he drew his feet up into the bed and breathed his last and was gathered to his people. Okay? So, he basically says, hey, when I die, I want you to bury me in Machpelah, which is where Abraham originally bought a field that had a cave in it, okay? And if you remember all the way back, Abraham was in the Promised Land, and that's all the land he got was what he bought, and he bought that one field that had the cave in it. So he was buried there, Sarah was buried there, and then Isaac, his son, and Rebekah, his wife, was buried there. Okay, and then before they left the Promised Land to come back to Egypt, Jacob buried Leah there. Okay, and you're asking, whatever happened to Rachel? Well, Rachel was actually buried, if I remember right, close to Bethlehem. All right, and so he just they were traveling, and he just buried her like on the way. Okay, so Leah is buried there. So he says, hey, bury me there in Machpelah. Now, he was really doing this in faith. And it was just an act of faith that I'm going to be in the Promised Land. I'm going to be buried in the Promised Land. And when I'm resurrected, I'll be resurrected from the Promised Land, not in Egypt. Egypt was not the Promised Land. So he does this really as an act of faith. You'll find out later, too, that Joseph will do the same thing. But he won't go, hey, have a ceremony and take me over there. He says, when you guys go back, take my bones back with you and bury me there. All right. None of the other brothers do that, but Joseph does. So again, this is an act of faith that Jacob does this and says, bury me there. Notice then his final thing, he was sitting on the bed, given these instructions, sitting on the bed, his feet on the ground, leaning on the staff, okay? After he did that, he brought his feet up in the bed, kind of curled up and died. And that was it, okay? So that's how this whole thing ends. A very kind of inspiring speech that he gave on his deathbed, telling about each of these tribes and what would happen to them. Okay, join us tomorrow. We're going to jump into Genesis 50, and that is the last chapter, and it's really just talking about them burying. Now, to actually go take the body back, that was an easy thing to say, but it was actually kind of a hard thing to do, and very involved. You're going to see how involved it was for them to take the body back there and bury it, and then you'll see that there's another conflict, and then the last thing of Genesis is where Joseph himself will die. All right, thanks for joining us. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we conclude the last chapter. All right, Lord's blessing. See you then.